everyone, welcome to Myrtle Knits. My name's Liz. I live in England in a place called West Sussex, and this is my third episode. I just wanted to say thank you so much again for everybody who watched, and certainly those who subscribed and sent messages. It's been great to interact, and yeah, it's made me think, well, I'd like to do another one. I've been enjoying them as well, so we'll keep seeing how they go. And I've got a few things to show you, and I've got my list as usual, so have a look down a little bit. That's all I'm doing, is just checking on my list. I hope you've all had a good couple of weeks and there's been lots of crafting going on. Now, to start with today, finished objects. This is where this one's slightly shorter because I haven't actually finished anything. I've got like a complete sock done, but not a pair yet, which I think, you know, I showed you last time. I was working on my heart explosion and also my diamond foam doodle sock. But as far as any other finished objects go, I'm hoping the next time there'll be a couple, but for this week there isn't any, I'm afraid. Previous knits. Now that's another section that I wanted to start showing you that I mentioned in episode 1, and just think it might be quite nice. Now, the previous knit this week, this episode, is my little rabbit cowlet. Now, I made this some time ago, and although I can absolutely wear this out, I tend to wear these around the house. If I want the heating on, if it's a bit chilly in the house, just this in my neck is just really nice. And when I made it, I mean the cowlets I do now, I knit a double layer on the inside, but I actually crocheted this one and sewed it in afterwards. And it makes for a lovely thick cowl, and it's just a ribbed, turned over ribbed beginning and end. Just neatens it up. And the actual rabbit design, I've got a couple of rabbit designs I do. I thought that I would pop it on Instagram. So I'll pop a photo of this on there, but also I'm going to pop the chart that I did for it. So I've printed one of those off and I'll pop that on, and then you'll be able to go in and see that, screenshot it, and you'll be able to enlarge it and use it for any of your projects. If you want to make a nice hat, that'd be really nice. If you want to make a cowlet, it'd be lovely, and it'd be really nice when we've got Easter coming up, so the Easter bunny, it'd be lovely to see, that's obviously if you celebrate Easter, but it'd be lovely to see your designs and any items that you add it to. So I'll put that on there. If you're interested and you want it, feel free to take that and use that. That's great. Now, my next thing I've got is what's on my needles, which last episode you got to see a couple of bits. I'm just going to turn the pages, so it might just be a little bit, you might just hear that, a little bit noisy. So I've got, I forgot my bedtime knit last time that I wanted to show you. So I've always got a little basket next to me, so I go to bed a little bit earlier, watch a little bit of telly in bed and do a little bit of knitting with my cup of tea. And in my basket at the moment, I'm working just on a very plain sock. It's a knit 3, purl 1, so it's got a nice bit of spring to it. I'm nearly finished with my first sock, and I probably only do a maximum of 10 rounds, but most of the time I don't even do that. But the yarn used for this one was a yarn, it's a Viking yarn. I don't know if you can see that, let's turn that around the wrong way. It's Nordlys, and it's a superwash wool, and the colour number is 955, just in case you're interested in that yarn. It's where is that? I did read that earlier on. Oh, it says 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. So it's a nice strong wool for a nice pair of socks that hopefully will last a while. You know, my socks they do last quite well actually. But I do tend to have a 75-25 mix, just for that added strength, so that I can wear them a lot. I think I said in the first video I used to have them that tended to be my socks I wore at home, but I tend to wear them all the time now. They're just so comfortable, so really good. So I must get knitting, so I've got plenty of pairs. The other thing I had was the Heart Explosion, which I did show you last time, and I have not got around to doing my second one yet, so I must make a start on that. But I've got other things on the needles, you see. I get too ahead of myself. I get excited and I want to start something else. So I really want to finish that though, and that pattern that I mentioned, I will, like last time, I will put some notes on the end of the video and also put some notes on my Ravelry page. But that particular pattern here, which was lovely, is by Jennifer Bewley. So just in case you want to go and look that one up and fancy giving that a go yourself. So it's really, really lovely. And my next one, is obviously my diamond foam doodle. I don't think this one was blocked last time. So this one's been blocked now and it looks lovely. I'm really pleased with it. And I've got quite a way, I think, with this one. So I'm not too much longer to go on those. Hopefully that will be a finished object definitely next time I get to speak to you, next time I come on here and say hi to everyone. My next one is my Clownfish. So I don't know whether I think I was probably only on this first sock. So this is the first one completed, and I'm just past turning the heel on this second one. So again, I think these will be finished by the time I next speak to you. And this is the one that I'm doing for a knit along, and I don't know if you've heard of the Grocery Girls. I think they've got a lot of followers and everything, so I think they are one that quite a few people know, and I think they're great fun, and they put a knit along up on Ravelry, and I try and join in that as much as possible, and it seems like a nice crowd on there, so that's another suggested YouTube videos you can watch, and a Ravelry page that you can go and look at. Now, a new knit I put on the needles. Now, the Heart Explosion, one of the techniques was ladderback jacquard, and I've never really used it. I always carry, so that's a case of when you're carrying your yarns and you're creating floats, I've always kind of twisted my yarns, carried the float across, and done it that way. But this ladderback jacquard, I had seen it before, but I'd never really tried it. So I had a little go on here, but I think I overcomplicated things for myself. So I thought I'm just going to stick to my usual technique with this sock, and it came up okay. You can see, little parts of it where the yarns come through. It's just poking through a little bit, but it's not too bad. So I thought I'd have a go at this ladderback jacquard. So I decided I would do a design of a checkerboard. Now, I thought this would, once I've done them, as I was doing them, I was thinking these would make great Wednesday socks. If you've seen that, we've watched Wednesday, and it was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. So I did the checkerboard, the big checkerboard, which is where I used the ladderback jacquard technique, because there's actually 8 stitches per checker, and then I just did a smaller for the sole of the foot, a smaller checkerboard. But I'll take this off. This one's all been washed and blocked, and I need to do another one. I'll turn it inside out, because when I was knitting it, I don't think you can really see because I've blocked it, but I was getting a little bit of puckering. It looked like it was puckering, and that you needed to stretch these out. Well, with the ladderback jacquard, it's really springy. I didn't really realise. So it kind of creates a second fabric. I don't know whether you can really see that on the back, and it just catches every so often, but it's really stretchy. So it's ideal. So it's a definite favourite that I'm gonna, I think I will use quite often now. With my learning, there's Jennifer Bewley. If you buy her pattern, she's actually got a link to a video that she's done to show this, and mentions how important it is that you, one part of it, you have to have the yarn in front when you're doing on the ladder back jacquard bit. And I think I missed that a couple of times. So I've got a couple of bits where you think, oh yeah, I think that's where I picked it up, because I can see almost like a little divot, a little hole, and you can see that, yeah, the yarn behind it. And the starting row I found out, this is something I'm going to be practicing, because the starting row, I'm pulling it apart a bit, but I tried 2 different ways. There was one where you could pick up a strand of the stitch from underneath, or you make a loop and put it on backwards on your needle and create a stitch that way, which is then going to be your ladder back, the yarn that you would knit with to carry that yarn across, so not your working yarn. And at the beginning, which I thought it wouldn't show quite so much because it was on off the back of the ribbon, but it has, and I think one does show more than the other. I can't remember which way around that was, but like I said in my very first video, I might do a video showing me learning this. It won't be a tutorial, because I don't think I'm quite there, obviously, to put that into a tutorial, but it could still be interesting for people to look at and to learn from, but I wouldn't want it to be put out there as this is your learning tool. It's just me learning and you being able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so that, I'm really pleased with that. I can't wait to do the next one. I think that's going to be so comfortable as well, just feeling it, because it's got a thickness to it, so they're going to be, yeah, they're going to be beautiful socks, I think, to wear. Now, let's have a little look. Oh, Berlin socks. So you remember my Shine the Light from last time, and it was this one here, and she's called Bettina Cross from Cross and Craft. And it's lovely, it reminds me a little bit of, I had my classic myrtles here with me last time, and it reminds me a little bit like that, especially the knitting of it. It's quite, I'm getting to quite a nice rhythm. I've not done very much, I only recently started it, and I did say I was going to do them for my husband. I'm not sure now, they might be for me. But also, the colour I originally picked for them, like I say, I get a bit carried away, get a bit ahead of myself, and I get very excited. I come up with an idea and I think, oh, that's what I'm going to do. So this was the colour. I'd still have enough, but of course I'm midway of making these. This was the colour that I was going to do them in for my husband, which I think would be really, really nice. But also another favourite colour at the moment is a paint box yarn. Like I say, I will list these yarns, the yarns I've used, so for any that I show, I should try and list them down again. But this yarn here is a paint box yarn, and it's called Coffee Bean. But I really like the yarns. I'm just finding those really, really nice too. So they're just not quite as soft, I would say, as some of the yarns, but I like that. I like that on my feet. I think that's quite nice. So anyway, let's show you. I don't know if you can see or pick up. Let's maybe turn it around that way so you haven't got the stitch marker in the way. But it creates quite a nice pattern, and I think it shows up well in this coffee bean. So I'm really pleased with that. Looking forward to doing some more of those. Will it be a finished object by next time in 2 weeks? Hopefully if I get to do another video in 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but I'll do my best. I'll give it a good go. Okay, so that's that one. I just need to turn the page again, so just in case it's a little bit noisy. The Revelers, that's everything that I think I'm going to say is every single time. It's not all that I've got on my needles, because I have projects dotted around. In fact, I found one. I'm going to be showing you a little book in a moment relating to the ones that are in the frame, but when I went in the cupboard, there's a bag hanging up, and it's got a shawl that I started ages and ages ago. Again, it'd be one of my previous knits that I'll show you. So I've got a really nice green shawl that I made, and then my friend really liked it, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to make her one. So I managed to get some yarn, really nice yarn and everything, and well, it's in the cupboard. In fact, she's got a special birthday next year, so it's been in there that long. I don't see that it'll be fine. I'll finish it and I'll give it to her for a special birthday, I think. So anyway, so the next thing is what's in the frame. So just for those who perhaps don't know, this is how I tend to display my work now, my socks. But I just thought it might be quite a fun addition just to have there and just see what's hanging in the frame this week. And these are my second pair of socks I ever knitted. I don't wear them a great deal because I don't know about you as sock knitters. As you go along, you find actually I prefer that needle size and that kind of design because it gives a more comfortable fit. And so these do tend to stay as house socks and kind of a bed sock if you like. But I originally did a pair without, I didn't have a RAVELRY at the time or anything like that. So I had a book of my grandmother's. I had many of her patterns, which unfortunately I passed on a lot. I didn't throw them away, obviously, they're too precious. But for somebody else to enjoy, I passed them on because we were moving at one time and downsizing quite considerably. So I had a good sort out, and then that, unfortunately, due to things that have happened in these past few years, my sale fell through. So we're still in the same property, but minus a lot of my stuff because we had a bit of a sort out. But one of them, I did keep the one actually, so I went looking for it this morning, which is when I found the shawl that's on the needles, that's been on the needles a long time. And it's a really old pattern. It's 70 and it's called Woolcraft. And I picked, they do these pictures here, and I can't remember which one it was, but I know it was a long version. So for my first sock, I picked a long version to do, and it was one of these here. And I really enjoyed it. Actually, the instructions for here, because I'm used to working on vintage, older patterns, they're very clear, nice and easy to follow. I did do it on double pointeds, which is what I started. I actually started this one double pointed to see how I'd get on, but I think I've just been a bit spoilt with the little 9-inch circulars. I love those. And as my Bedtime knitted and my Clownfish are on magic loop. So I thought I'd give it a go because I thought, well, that's another set of needles I'd better use. But obviously then I can have far more on the needles. But I don't know that I get on with them quite as well. So I think I'm going to stick at the moment with my double pointed, my circulars, my 9-inch and the one's magic loop circulars. So anyway, that's the book that I was looking for when I found the shawl. And like I say, these are the second pair of socks. So the first pair were in this yarn and a lot longer and from the book. These were from a newer pattern, which I haven't got here. They gave you 4 socks in one pattern that I use those for. Like I say, I really like them. I really like the colour that it was and the design it's come out as. So that's what's in the frame this week. Now the next thing I have is plans. Okay, yes. So I think I've already mentioned the plan that I'd like to do a video just to show my learning, what I learned new in 2023. You know, just document that one for me as a reference, and also for other people to see what I've been learning really, and see if it's something that perhaps they've never seen before. So they see that it's a new technique they'd like to learn, and I would definitely recommend going then to find some tutorials because there's some great tutorials out there. But I will let you know if that goes ahead. But that's part of the plan. The other thing is to practice the ladder back jacquard. So I'm really looking forward to starting that next checker sock, and just seeing if I can tweak. You know, I'll work out which one looked the best for me starting off the ladder back, so I don't get those little divots. And I just think the next sock will be about practicing, but they're also going to look great. As finished socks, they're going to be great. And also, I think I'm going to start my Christmas jumper. So, I know the design I want to do. I'd seen that. There's a picture of my granddad wearing a jumper, no doubt knit by my nan, and it had lots of little Christmas trees all over it. And so that's the plan that I've got, but the style, whether I have it as a cardigan, So last year's one I did as a bit of a slouchy, just oversized, just pop on cardigan, or whether I do a jumper, tank top, I don't know. I think that'd be a case, I'll get it on the needles, I'll do a swatch, that would probably be my first thing, then I'll get it on the needles and I'll decide from there, see how we get on. So that's the plans. I'll shine the light this time. I found a beautiful pattern, and I think I'm just achieving what I wanted to. I think she just has this one pattern in her Ravelry account. I'm reaching over there, but it's not there, it's down here. And it's this one here. And these are the Falkland shags. And the lady, she's written on here, it's during her field work, her PhD, her first PhD fieldwork season, and she, during her downtime, she just thought, what better subject to do than the species she was studying? So that is the Falkland shags, and I say they look lovely. I think she's done this in a light grey, which I think I might have got. So I actually decided I really like the look of it. I'm gonna get the yarn that she's used, so I did. I purchased that and maybe a couple of other things, but I'll leave those and show you those another time when I've perhaps got an idea what I'd like to do with them. Now she has two colours, so she's got this navy, she's got the light grey is her main colours, but then she's got this other, I don't think you can just see it, there's just a slight dash of colour going through, which I don't know if I'm going to use yet, and I went for grey and black, so I'll show you the yarn. That's looking a bit, can you see that okay? So that's one of them, that's the grey, and then I got, that's just, that's the black. So I just think they look really nice together. So I may put a splash of colour through like she has, but just from my stash, something I can find. So this is BC Garn Bio Shetland. Again, I'll list it all down, I'll write it all out for you. And it's 100% pure organic wool. It uses 2.5 to 4mm needles, and it's just really nice. This one is colour 46, and this one is colour 41. So colour 41 and colour 46. What I did earlier on is I just popped this down my top as well. I just walked around with it. One thing I did notice, it was very warm. It was so lovely. When I took it away, I was like, oh, that's breezy. But just to see how it feels against the skin, because it feels, it's soft, it's very squidgy. But I just wanted to feel if it's going to be around my neck all the time, which, you know, can be a little bit more sensitive. I just thought I'd see what it was like, and I would say it feels so far absolutely fine. So fingers crossed, that's what it'll be. It'll be absolutely fine. So I'm looking forward to starting that and showing you that from my Shine the Light on this Falkland Shags cow. Again, I'll put the designer's name, so if you want to go and find her on Ravelry and you fancy making yourself one of these cows, that'd be great. I'll just pop that down there. Now, the next bit, I think that's all the knitting I've got to show you this week. The next bit is what's on the box. What have I been watching? Now, we've been infilling a lot of time with our MasterChef Australia, which in the beginning, first video, I said there's many series and there's many episodes in the series. So we've gone back, we're still about 10 years behind, but thoroughly enjoying them, and they just make little nice infills when you're watching something else. We just think, oh, well, yeah, what can we just watch for a short while? Because you don't need to watch a whole one. You can get halfway through, pick it up next time, and it's no problem. So they're really good to watch. We've been watching a few of those actually. They've been really good. In this last 2 weeks, I think I said as well, I quite like these reality programs. Married at First Sight. This is something I watch on my own. I don't watch with my husband. Married at First Sight Australia started, which has been absolutely great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've probably watched maybe about 4 or 5, I think. They're just having their first dinner party for any of those that really like to watch it. I say I'm never going to give anything away when I hope I don't give anything away when I perhaps talk about something we're watching or I'm watching. But there is a couple on there right from the very start that I was rooting for, and they seem really lovely together. I'm just hoping it's one of those success stories that, unfortunately, they don't all come out like that, but at least, you know, what's quite nice is that there is some success stories and some really, you know, happy endings. So that's another thing I've been watching. And that's probably, I mean, we have been watching other things, but that's probably the main things I've watched in this past couple of weeks. We're still, the very first thing, I'd started something called Yellowstone for a friend who'd really recommended it, beautiful scenery, and I was going to let you know whereabouts it was, and I haven't really picked up on it too much, so again, that's something I might get back into, in which case I'll feedback if we do watch some more. Planting, so my garden, I don't know if you can hear, it's just literally started raining. I sit where I'm sitting, I've got a sunroom, I've got some doors in between, but I can hear that it's started to rain, so sorry if you can hear that. I will watch this back and see if it's, you know, too noisy. But my planting is, my seedling trays are still in the kitchen, just all the seedlings popping up, and I was really doubtful about my tomato plants. I was really unsuccessful with them last year, and I thought, I think it's going to happen again. I'm not going to have any tomato plants. I'm going to have to buy them, but they've just started to come through. So I'm hoping they will come through. And I tried not to do too many, but I know I probably have, because I take after my granddad. I don't, the little seedlings, you do the amount you want, and I end up having to do them all and trying to pass them on to people, because I don't the thought of these little seedlings and throwing them away. I'm not so great at, but I can't always find a home for them, so sometimes I end up with more than I need. But anyway, I'm looking forward to, you know, the rain is not helping for us getting in the garden at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to that all starting up and getting in the garden, because it needs a bit of an overhaul. But like I say, not a lot we can do until this weather changes. Well, I think that's it for today. It's 27 minutes today, 27.5 minutes. Interact again, you know, subscribe if you like it and you want to catch the next video, and you can put on your notifications. Feel free to message. I loved reading the comments that I've had so far, and obviously responding as well. It's nice to have that interaction. I'll list down where you can find me on Instagram at RAVELRY if you want to pop there and say hi. And I will catch you next time, hopefully in a couple of weeks. I'll certainly aim for that, and what I'm really going to aim for over the next couple of weeks is some finished objects. So I'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Happy crafting. Bye.